Okay, this is a video on how to repair a Chrysler Ram FOBIK key and where one of the buttons have gone bad. And I'll explain that condition in a moment. But what you'll need is a jeweler's screwdriver and a pair of tweezers just to move the piece of metal around and get it into position. A little white glue. I don't recommend any kind of glue that will melt any type of rubber or plastic. And the white glue is just there to kind of hold it in place when we put it back together. And you're just going to use a pin head drop of it just to keep it in place. And then and just a piece of paper towel just to kind of wipe the key a little clean from inside, and in case you put too much glue in, you need to wipe it out and put another dab back in. That's basically what you're going to need. The FOBIK key, which is a frequency operated button integrated key, is what FOBIK stands for. What happened with this key is one of the buttons here no longer clicks. Now, I don't know if you can hear it, but now it clicks. I actually fixed it. But when I would just lightly touch my finger on it, it would honk the horn of my truck several times. I just had to touch it very lightly. So the clicking function or feature went away. And what happened was there's a little metal disc in there that came loose and started floating around. I'm going to show you how to take it apart. It's very simple. And put the little disc back in, and with a little dab of glue. Okay, so the first step is to take the glove compartment key, valet key out. And if you see in here, there's a little screw. We're going to use a jeweler's screwdriver to do that. A screwdriver like this is a little too big. And then if you have these type of jeweler's screwdrivers, there's not enough leverage around there. You'll notice that it's not thick enough, and this is a pretty good one. So you see that it's thick. If you need to use one of these to be able to take that screw out, what you'll do is use a little duct tape, and you're going to wrap and wrap and wrap duct tape around it until you get it about that thick. And then this way it gives you enough leverage on these very cheap screwdrivers, enough leverage to be able to open up that the key and turn that screw and get it open. All right, so what I'm going to do here is unscrew that screw. And you want a surface area like I have here, because there's small little pieces and parts that are going to fall out and get all over here. So, best to keep a little clean area. And a couple more turns. All right, there's the screw. Now, all that does is hold the two pieces of plastic together. That's all it does. So what you're going to do is you're going to just take your screwdriver in here and kind of turn it and twist it and get a little leverage to open it up. And all it is it doesn't even snap into place. It's just the rubber of the fob, the key itself, holding this together. So once you pull it apart, like I said, there's no real snaps in there. And you're just going to kind of pull it apart like this. And the top comes in. You see that the rubber right in here holds everything together. And that's the inside of the key. All right. And this is the part that we're going to look at. If you see on the other side of the key, there's all the buttons that you push. So we're going to take this apart. Just pop it out, the rubber and the circuit board. And next you're going to just take, this is the part that you're going to work on, and what you're going to do is take the circuit board very carefully out, the rubber, and you'll notice there's several contacts there. Now this model, only 4 of the contacts are being used, and you'll see in here there's 4 discs. And if you look on the outer piece of the plastic or rubber, you'll see there's only 4 features or functions. Okay, so because I already really fixed this, what would happen is one of these discs, which was this one right here, came loose and was floating around. So when you open it up, you'll see that disc will come out. All you're going to do is take a piece of some glue, and just the regular school glue is good enough. You're just trying to hold it in place, and you want a minimum amount as possible, because but too much, it's really going to kind of crack and it's going to come apart anyway. So if you just put a little dab of glue in there, the size of almost the tip of the head of this screw right there, you can see that screw, just about that much glue. It's very little drop, very little. That'll drop. And then you'll take your needle nose, pick up the disc, and make sure that the higher part of the disc is against the rubber, and the indentation is out, because what it is it's convex, and when you push it down, it snaps and makes a contact from the center to the outer edge of this board. So when you push it down, that's what makes it unlock and lock. And I can essentially do that just by shorting out the center and the two, and you'll hear, I can do this. Push the right one. You hear my horn honk. All it's doing is making contact with the inside and the outside. That's it. So once you put that disc into the glue, you just pick up the disc, put it on top of the glue, set it back in place, put your circuit board back into the rubber, let it sit for a few minutes just so the glue kind of takes shape and holds the contact in, and then you just put everything back together again. That's it. And tap it all in, and the glue will still be drying as you're doing it. Now again, this doesn't snap, so you're gonna have to push it together, kind of, not a little bit of force, not too much. You don't want to push your buttons while you're doing that, but you're just going to squeeze it back together and start from the tip down, and as I push it in, the rubber kind of, you'll feel it grip. What the paper towel is good for is when you open it up, you want to just wipe out some of the dirt and grime that might have gotten in there over the years. You just wipe that out and clean it. Also, the circuit board itself, there might be a little grime in there, so you can wipe some of that off. That's just from getting moisture in there and kind of getting grimy, so you can wipe that out too. And so anyway, back to putting this together again. Put this back into here, and get this stuff out of the way. Start with the tip, just pushing the outside together. All right, and it's all back together. And then you're going to take this screw, and again, if you have trouble with your fingers, whatever, you can use the needle nose pliers, just get the screw into place. And then just don't force this screw in, just turn it very lightly. Back in. And I try not to turn it too tight. I just kind of like feel it right about there, so it just stops turning. You don't need to get this tight. I'm just like slightly touching it there. Now it's back into place. Put your key back in, and now you got a working, and you can hear the click, and it's back. All right.